Command beforehand should not be placed in a position of sufferance. What the fuck? What was that? What was that? Oh God. I was just trying to deliver the most almighty piece of veritas in rhetoric and oratory in a soliloquy ever devised for humanity, when a bumbling little icon iconography of issue in the audio field rumbled my visual form and my oral form in both senses of the word. I am most flummoxed, riven, rolled to the dust in this issue. There will be no tolerating the peace if the peace don't hold. And the peace must hold. For the disissue of a man is not a war, but the by intensity of the struggle he must face daily in order to work. And the effort, the monumental piss of getting up. Why? I am so comfy in my Betty Bobos and my duvet. Why should I get out of bed? But I do. Invariably I do. And I continue. And I walk down the corridor. And I may go to the kitchen. And therein, I may, if I can afford it, have some food. Probably in the microwave. Out of the fridge. Often used in the oven too. Both very useful implements within a modern, sustained kitchen environment. I think they're vital to our welfare. In fact, kitchens are frickin' amazing. Cookers, microwaves, kettles, sinks, taps, fridges, freezers, dishwashers, washing machines, all in one closeted little cubicle of knowledge and science by which to live harmoniously in civilization most well, if you know what you're doing, if you know how to handle a kitchen. Some people don't. I knew one. I knew a chap. Totally retarded and mentally ill fucker on drugs. And we had a flat. He just couldn't look after it at all. And I'm bad. But he was worse. Oh my God, it was just terrifying going to his flat. It was just grubby everywhere. And he lived happily among Mac. As I do in part, but not that bad. And it occurred to me, science has reached out to all of us in manifold solutions, forever it seems. If truth be the one eternal biscuit of the forever infinity, well, and then you may dwell to yourselves and think, what's he going on about? I don't know. Well, I think I do, but now I've forgotten. And that's the point. Amnesia is a very big problem in modern society because of the drink and weed. They come hand in hand. Both very pleasurable. Not as retarded or evil or as illegal as cocaine. But they both have a tendency to make you forget every aspect of your consciousness. Not that you'd probably remember sober, because I've been to school enough to know that memory is a faculty that isn't often employed by a majority of people when they really hone down to the biscuit. I mean, I feel like Jason Bourne every day. But the problem is, memory is a thing. And I realised this when I was observing my consciousness once under high-grade acid, for want of a word, because that's what it was, also called LSD, which was grim, horrible shit. But one of the things that I realise is Philip's sort of belt was that I am the centre of a God-given universe under his authority. And there is a code of conduct he has commanded we obey. And when I was young, I was stupid. I was really stupid. I went to a good school, I was quite bright, I was quite intelligent, but I didn't take the God thing seriously. I believed in Robin Hood, John Lennon and Karl Marx for a while, right, in my ignorance. I didn't get reality, right. I wanted to live for some kind of utopian dream, have the revolution, smash the bourgeois, and bring down, and we'll create this perfect state where all egalitarian wonder. Yeah, right, mate. God's reality is much more beautiful for each and every soul of individualism on this planet than any ideology devised by a man, no matter how intellectual, because you can't apply a logistic framework of utopian ideals to a God-given construct of reality which has and includes supernatural aspects within the mind to a seemingly random series of individuals. And those individuals are probably called the X-Men. So with this said, I no longer take communism at all seriously. I never took fascism or Nazism seriously. And socialism is just communism with a more lovely velvet glove, really, isn't it? So, where are we going with this? I don't really know. But the point, if I should be so bold, is to continue. Because that is the voice that I heard, like a voice like God in 1995. God, or a voice like God, told me, it was from a higher authority, a higher plane of reality. And it said, continue. So I do continue. I continue. But what am I meant to say? Oh, we were talking about the Ten Commandments, weren't we? Oh yes, well, the problem with the Ten Commandments, and this is a serious problem in logistical, modern, reasonable, high-tech, intellectual reality, is that one of the Ten Commandments is literally do not covet your neighbour's ox, right? Which I have no desire to do. But when we live in this modern world of high-tech stuff, I mean, obviously we can say that the car is a modern allegory to something like an ox back in the day. And in context, back in the time, God was being contextually important there. Because, you know, an ox was a mighty beast which suggested wealth to the agricultural people of the region, right? Which could create ploughing and strength and meat and milk or whatever. I don't know if you can get milk from ox, but whatever. And it was a status symbol to own an ox. But as believers, you surely must be able to see that we can take that commandment and apply it in modernity to do not covet your neighbour's Lamborghini Countach or something like that. Because this is exactly the same principle. However, don't expect that to be written in the Bible, because the Bible under Mosaic law was written a long time ago for its time. And I'm not to say God is out of time. Well, he is out of time, but he's the Alpha and the Omega. And I don't count or covet any neighbour's ox or Lamborghini Countach, right? And I do not seek to murder. That's one of the biggies, alright? So don't do that. Because people who murder people are bad news. They get locked up for freaking years. You must be psycho to even dare to think about taking another soul's life. You have no idea who someone is under God the Incarnate. It makes me very concerned that people are so laissez-faire about another psyche and soul and being in this world of love. No. We must continue. And not lie, that's another one. And not have any false gods before God. Which proves that God is saying, yes, there are other gods, because don't have any false gods before me, gods being plural, but, worship me. And I was like, alright, we'll worship Jah. And Jah, Yahweh, Jehovah, they always say Jehovah. I think that's how you truly pronounce Yahweh, Jehovah. It's Jehovah. Or something like that. I'm not going there, I won't make the joke. But either way, I am continuing to do this. I know it shouldn't say don't cover your neighbour's wife as well. And I won't. Because I'm just not that way inclined. We had some neighbours once, and the wife was she wasn't the wife, she was the girlfriend. And she was very attractive. And I did think she was very beautiful, but I didn't cover her. And I don't think people would believe me. However, one day, the neighbour humiliated me at the pub so badly by mocking my tiny willy in public because I was wearing a Spider-Man's costume. And I took it on the chin, as you got to do these things. What was I meant to do? Smack him out dressed as Spider-Man in a public place for mocking my little Johnson. Well, the long and short of it, quite literally, was that later on, and this had nothing to do with me, he was involved in his own psyche of tribalism among friends and shit, but his beautiful girlfriend, who he was going to get married to, they were getting married, and the best man slept with her and ran off with her on the night of the wedding. And this poor chap, I don't care if he mocked my small cock in a Spider-Man's costume in a pub per se, because what his humiliation was for him, and I didn't conjure it, don't blame me, this has nothing to do with me, it's the karma of God, if anything else, right? God probably did that. I didn't have to do that. It wasn't my doing. But it was karma. It was like, remember what God says. Leave vengeance unto me. Doesn't he? Right? And that is a hard ask for anyone. So that's why one reason I've never got married. Because I just think, Jesus, what if something like that happened to me? I'd never get over it. I would commit Harry Carey on the Archbishop Tutu's face or something. I don't know what I'd do. It would be so bad. I would never get over it. And I didn't conjure. I actually quite liked this chap. I thought he was alright. I thought he was a bit cheeky, but he was small and spindly. And they always got to show a bit of jibby jive. And in that he was fucked. And I can't help him. And that makes me sad in a way. Because he wasn't too evil. I thought. I don't know what he was like with his girlfriend behind closed doors. But you never know. I crashed a boat once in a rowing competition. It wasn't Henley, it was over towards Bath or somewhere. Big competition, lots of schools. And I was the cox in they're not canoes, they're rowing boats. I always think of them as canoes, don't you? Just these long boats. But this one had a long one. And they hold like 4 or 8 men to do this irrelevant, tedious thing, which is all about the Oxford and Cambridge boat race. And then it goes on and on. So why am I watching this? Why am I doing this? But I was a cox for a good year or two. I quite enjoyed it really. It was a really wholesome activity with some wonderful friends, and we got some awesome speeds going down beautiful pastoral rivers in the natural beauty of England. And on a summer's day, it's a win for all the team. So anyway, I had the rudders. I had to control that boat. I was effectively the pilot of a big canoe with a strapping team of 8 men at my full level. I had an 8er at one point. 8 men with me in charge, riding the fucking canoe. And so, we turned up at this competition. I don't know, regatta, whatever you want to call it. And there was a big river ahead of me, as it is. You need a big straight of river. You can't really have a bendy river when you're doing these boats because it's more complicated. But we had a big straight. And we were going up. And there's a jetty. I didn't know what to do. I had a bit of a wobble. I didn't know what to do. I thought, do we go beyond the jetty? Because you had to go upstream to begin the race to row downstream. And there were two oncoming rowers in race. I was like, fuck, we've got to time this perfectly to get beyond the jetty so we don't get hit, alright? And I see the warden, the marshal, on the jetty. And he goes, go. I go, okay. And so I trusted him, and it's not his fault. I pulled out, we go out. Anyway, shoot! Smack! The oncoming rowing racing team smashes into our boat. And the hull of one of these racing boats comes leering out of the water. They cost thousands of pounds to create. And it shears past Harvey's shoulder. I think his name was Harvey. It nearly takes his head off. He could have been killed. Right? I'm like, holy fuck, as we're sinking lower and lower into the river. And it was just that was one of the worst fuck ups of my entire life. And so, the moral of this story is that don't worry, even if you fuck up, as long as you didn't do it maliciously or intentionally or with any degree to do anything perverse, wicked or unholy, the system will forgive you. And that is mercy to my bones. In some kind of fascist regime, I'd probably be shot for that. He made a mistake. Yeah. Fucking horrible times. Nothing cool about Nazi Germany, ladies and gentlemen. Everything cool about modernity. In some ways, the patience, the long-term boredom, the echoing, aching peace of days in splendid isolation could be seen as a weakness to some degree, but essentially it's so much better than everyone killing each other in a frenzy of ideological bullshit. It just works. And we've got computers of high-tech integrity. High-tech integrity. They're not corrupt. You do not make a system this intelligent where all your computations work millions and millions of them daily en masse, right? And it's all going according to your own plan, an individualistic look on the computer. It's working. If I know what to do, yep, it's working, all cogent, all logical. We copy that, we're operating, right? Happens for everyone, from the grandest programmers of the most advanced GTA games to the lowest WhatsApp user. You would trust in the integrity of the system. And that's why conspiracy theory is bullshit. Let that be a lesson to you. And thank you and good night.